Welcome back to Point Blank, and we have been chatting about the buzz on transportation. We have with us here today with us Storm Star blogger Liao Julian.
Yay! Welcome, Julian. He's also a driver and also blogs passionately about transport too.
I write about cars for a living, and it's kind of nice to be here. For a living, yes. I test drive cars and then I write about them.
Have you must be fun. Oh, all the fast cars as well?
Yeah, all the fast cars as well.
Oh,
It's a dirty job, someone has to do it.
Dirty?
Sure.
I would gladly take over your position.
You poor thing.
Right, so have you been affected by these recent ERP hikes and all?
I think everyone has been affected, actually. ERP has gotten expensive, but petrol prices have become monstrously expensive lately. And we get a lot of feedback from readers who complain about this thing and all that. But I think we shouldn't forget that cars are luxury goods at the end of the day.
Okay. How are you coping? How are you coping yourself?
I've actually started to ride my motorcycle more. I hope my mum is not watching this, because she will be really pissed off about that.
She doesn't like it.
And I think some people, actually I do have friends who have done that. They've switched to a motorcycle, they've gotten more sleep, and they're saving about $5,000-6,000 a year just doing that.
That's a lot of money to save.
That's right.
Yeah, well, our ERP charges are actually not helping, and neither is our public transport actually. So
what do people really go through during morning crush hours? Elsie hopped onto a bus at about 8 a.m. with her camera to check it out.
Brave girl. Oh, well, Elsie will wait a while to show us a video blog.
She's still stuck on the bus.
Yeah, she's still stuck at the bus in the change.
But hey, don't worry, we have my vlog.
Yeah.
What's
a vlog?
It's video blog. It's so cool.
Ooh,
I just found out from Wikipedia the other day. It's actually a vlog. It's news to me as well. Because I didn't just walk onto the bus. I brought a camcorder along with me. I did my vlog on the MRT during crash hour at AM. It was monstrous. It was more of a battle than a ride, really.
Oh dear.
Shall I take a look? Well, it's early in the morning, and I'm right here in front of the MOQ MRT station, and I'm not exactly looking forward to joining that crowd behind me. On top of that, it's really hard to hold a camcorder backwards. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you into the heart of the morning rush hour. Let's take a look. Will you look at that? I'm going to join that in a moment. Look at that. Yep, these are all people going to work just like me. My EasyLink fare card. Look at the sea of people. I don't even know which door to take. I'm just going to squeeze in. Well, standing room only, and even then, not much. One amazing ability that commuters have developed, especially for taking trains, is reading while keeping your balance at the same time. But this is the winner, sleeping while standing. How do you find the morning rush hour, the peak hour squeeze? Very packed. It's crowded in the morning. Do you think that things could improve in terms of the crowdedness? Hopefully. Orchard. Well, I just got off the train at Raffles Place MRT station. Oh, look at the amount of people that just got off the train now waiting to get on the escalator. I don't really want to be in that crowd. Still waiting.
It's very packed, every single morning. Sometimes I feel that, the MRT should improve something. The commuters, sometimes they are not considerate enough.
Like how? Give an example.
They squeeze, even there's no space, they will squeeze all the way in. It's because it's like sardines inside. It's very hot.
Yeah.
Even though there's aircon, even the new trains are newly fixed aircon, right? It's still very hot. It's still very warm inside.
This is the morning rush hour crowd. Well, it's a bit like party in the Red Sea. Look at the almost empty staircase. Well, these people are either healthier, fitter, or maybe they're just simply late for work. Well, I think I've just got about enough. I am getting out of here. Well, I got to Raffles Place MRT station in one piece. Well, It's more than I can say for everyone. You have to get people's elbows in your ribs. You've got to, contend with the bad air conditioning at an MRT station. You have to queue up for the escalator to get out of the MRT station after you barely got into the train. So, all in all, well, not a fantastic experience. And I wouldn't do this on a daily basis.
Oh dear, look at that. Talking about parting the Red Sea.
Yeah, it was really a sea of people.
Whoever said that Singapore has no natural resources? 人山人海.
Yes, exactly. And I was just doing it for the day because I drive. And these people do it on a daily basis.
It looked terrible, actually. But, I think you've probably seen worse in Tokyo, right? Where you have people who are employed to push people onto the trains.
Yeah, they've got this board.
Yeah. It can be quite pleasant because it's all these Japanese girls that you're in the middle of. But I can tell you, it's no picnic on the roads either. If you're driving to work in rush hour, you can be stuck there for a long, long time. So I think, it's just getting crowded everywhere.
But you drive, so have you actually personally experienced all that before?
I've never actually had to go into town in rush hour on an MRT train. I've had to do it in a car, though. And as I said, it's not that great an experience. There is a crowd, but it's just a crowd of cars. And at least you can sort of lounge out in your own car and listen to music and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's the added bonus of having a car. You have your privacy, you have comfort, which is much less on public transport.
That's
actually.
True. People are actually saying that is our public transport system actually catching up with the increase of ridership caused by the ERP and everything?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer, but I think something has to be done about the road system as well, because traffic has become really quite unpredictable. It used to be able to get anywhere in Singapore within, say, 20 minutes, half an hour, but now you can take much longer.
Yeah, it's true. It's gone leaps and bounds. Just a few years ago, as I was driving on the roads, it was still relatively smooth driving.
Right.
But now you just have to keep going with your first gear.
And we're 4 million people? Imagine the day we reach 6 million. It's going to get worse.
That's right. Although our vehicle population is controlled, there's only about 500,000 cars, passenger cars on the road. But I still think that's too many. I may write about cars, but I actually believe that cars are a luxury good and they're not really for everyone to have.
Yeah, it's true.
But do you think that regulating car ownership is going to solve this thing?
Well, I personally feel there are too many cars on the road, so we've had a huge number of COEs, which has allowed the car population to grow quite fast in recent years, and you can see the effects. You have to queue everywhere, and nowadays when you drive to a movie, you can't just sort of get there 10 minutes before the movie starts.
Cafe, right? That's a crazy one in Orchard.
City Leisure is a bad place to go to if you are driving. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But you're upsetting a lot of the majority out there, who don't really have...
They'll be saying, you driver, you telling us that...
You know how to talk because you are driving.
I know,
but what about us? We take the train, we squeeze with people, we smell smelly armpits every morning. It's just not fair.
But we don't want to appear like it's just us grousing.
Right.
It's not all about us. We also found out what most people are complaining about.
During the peak hours, our bus service is really, I don't know. You should know. MRT is worse than sardine. I think at this rate you carry on doing this, and you think that profit is your operating goal or your mission of your company, then it's very difficult to achieve what the ideal system in public transport.
Once I was going with my niece and nephew in the MRT. It was so crowded that, it's quite frightening for them. So we had to get out of, at the next station, and then after that we decided to take a bus.
But if you want people not to drive to town area or congested area, improve on the public transport system, the road system, rather than curbing the population of the car. Because sometimes people need the car is for family reasons. If I have a handicapped person at home, it's very difficult for me to tell me not to have a car. It's not fair every time to penalize on car owner. I think it's really not fair to penalize on car owner. Must as well you tell us, don't buy any car. All of us use public transport.
It's very packed. Yeah, actually they should have much more. Maybe the time waiting should be shortened. Yeah.
So if the public transport has improved tremendously, let's say, whether it's the frequency or the numbers of trains and buses, would you then convert and switch to public transport?
Most likely I will. Yeah.
Hey, Jalen, did you hear that? It's not fair.
It's not
The
fair.
lady is
Yeah,
not
it's not
saying the same
fair.
tune as you.
Okay, but life isn't fair. Okay, let me give you an analogy, okay? Now, we've all got mobile phones, okay? Now, imagine if the mobile phone network could only take so many calls at once. Would you rather pay a lot for a mobile phone so not everyone can have one? Or everyone can have a mobile phone, but the calls are monstrously expensive so not everybody uses them?
Still, it's not fair.
Auntie says it's not fair.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
thing,
not
though.
fair.
You have to balance all this unfairness against the paralysis of the network. You can't have both, basically.
Right. So right now, what they have is reducing, regulating traffic flow. All right. Suggesting is that they are building more roads, improving on the transportation system.
Yeah.
What about how should commuters what are some of the things that commuters can do themselves to improve on this?
Well, I think that we have to relook the way we use transport and the reasons we use it. And I think if we decentralize certain things so that people wouldn't all have to funnel into town at the same time,
but you see,
it would help a lot.
from the ERP, you're getting people to go to take alternative routes right now, and people are opting for trains. But you heard that lady over there. She said that even the trains get so crowded, she has no choice but to take the buses, and even then that's so crowded.
The
as
public
well.
transport doesn't seem to be a viable option.
Yeah, and what I'm talking about is actually doing things like on a national level, maybe staggering working hours, for example. If everybody had to go to work at 9 o'clock, this is the result, Where I work, people kind of stroll in at 10:30, 11, so we all kind of
that's
miss
nice.
rush
But
hour.
that's just you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we also
that's
go
very
home.
lucky.
We also go home later than everyone else, so we also miss the rush hour traffic as well. Now, information has become so mobile that I think that actually is quite viable.
But not everyone's as lucky as you or me,
That's
Julian.
true. Not
Well,
everyone goes in the
Okay,
office,
our reporter Elsie actually went on the bus at 8 a.m. You know the time when everyone has to go to work. Normal people and not so lucky people. Well, she did a vlog as well, a video blog, and we find out how the squeeze is like
and how
on
bad
the
the
bus
situation
as well.
really is.
Let's take a look.
8 a.m. Amokyo Central, and I'm trying to catch the bus to town. Phew, just made it. Well, looks like there's only standing room, no seats available. Oh, look at the coffee. Mental note, need caffeine. Oops, she spotted the camera. Well, the bus is not as crowded as I expected it, but I swear it is taking the longest possible route. Finally, my destination in sight. Well, about time.
We really took more than an hour just to get from Amokyo So I guess most commuters have taken the MRT instead.
But not everyone agrees.
So how do you find the bus ride so far?
Bus ride, you get to see things, the buildings, rather than you're in the tunnel, you can't see anything.
But if you're in a hurry?
I still prefer bus.
I guess if you have the time, taking the bus is not that bad after all.
You know what, Yvonne? Watching that video just gave me a bright idea.
What's your bright idea?
Well, I'm going to paste wallpaper inside the interior of all the buses and trains, then everybody would be, find traveling such a pleasure.
But the thing is, that lady over there, she's in the minority. Very few Singaporeans who want to enjoy the scenery. They just want to get from point A to point B really quickly.
So maybe we can all learn a thing or two from her.
Yeah.
Learn to enjoy the scenery.
Yeah, and take public transport. Like you and me.
Easier said than done.
We're drivers.
Come on.
Okay. But anyway, the buzz on the internet is also about transport.
But this time, it's the
proposed fare hike. Well, not so good news for some of the public transport commuters.
Last week, bus and train operators proposed increasing fares. If approved by the Public Transport Council, or PTC, new fares will kick in from October. Operators attribute this to rising costs and energy prices.
Well, the PTC had said that the increase will be less than 1%, even though the fare adjustment formulas allow for transport operators to increase fares by up to 3%. And they are evaluating the fare adjustment proposal.
And that's right, netizens on the Straits Times online discussion board are mostly up in arms about it as well. Here's what some said.
Well, a certain Ang Hua Hong says, why must every year ask for fare increase? I don't find any improvements. The bus estimation boards are inaccurate.
That is true. I've noticed that lately as well. And now for Lao Hero 64, he says, wait, didn't petrol and diesel prices just come down?
Did they come down, Julian?
Just recently?
Yes, they have come down.
Just 3 days back, right?
Yeah, they've been coming down, but they are not the only cost of providing public transport. So that doesn't mean that fares should come down right away.
That's right. And our salary ain't going up as well. So
yeah, it's not matching up. I heard that, everyone. Anyway, Eagle 2004 brought up, well, very considerate of him. Bus drivers pay. He's the only one who's thought of the bus driver. He says the various transport companies keep asking for hikes, but I hear that their bus drivers are poorly paid.
Go on strike lah.
Yeah, poor bus uncles.
And on Storm's Talkback, heated debates about fares and quality of service.
Yeah, for Omega 4730, the increase of train frequency is justified, but not its fares, because I always feel cheated. So victimized.
Tell me about it.
While waiting for the next train for almost 10 minutes, a long time, and the train turns out to be full.
That's true. I don't mind waiting, but you make sure I have at least a place to sit or a place for me to stand.
Yeah, it can be really disappointing. You're waiting there for 10 minutes, all of 10 minutes, and during rush hour, it's
precisely, especially for the students, my heart goes all the way out to them. And when I was an undergraduate, I took the bus from Boon Lay MRT bus interchange. Each time the bus came, we had to wait like 3 or 4 times before we could actually go up the bus and sit down and settle down and get to lectures on time. So ended up, we miss our lectures sometimes. So it's
some people have to miss their right
to
work.
It's a sad reality for some groups of people who don't get the luxury of choosing what time to show up at certain places.
Yeah, it's true. But there are some who actually think that upping fares may work. Sky Angel says, I think they should increase the train frequency only during peak hours. Then those who board the train during peak hours will have to pay the extra fare. What do you think of that, Julian?
This goes back to what I said about cars being a luxury good. If we thought about them that way, then the policy of taxation could be geared towards redistributing some of that in order to subsidize transport for everyone else. So, for example, if you buy a Ferrari, you end up paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax.
That's right.
And that's fair, I think, because you can afford it, and maybe some of that should be channeled back into the public transport system in order to help sort of ease the pain for the rest of the population.
That's a great idea.
Well, do you think that, for instance, upping fares for public transport will...
Well, some people have to travel no matter what. So I think it's a little bit punitive for those people, because no matter what, they're going to have to end up paying. Perhaps it might price some people out of using the bus or train during those times. And, that, of course, would ease the crush and all that. So it'll work, but, this, I think, is a little bit unfair.
A bit unfair, but what do you think? Yeah, but what do you think? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's unfair? Well, call us, email us, webcam us, or SMS us.
Contact us any way you like.
Any way you like.
Especially if you have a hot contribution.
Something provocative to say? You could actually win a prize for it, But now, it's break time.
Next, we find out what a transport economist has to say about Singapore's public transport.
Keep it right here on Point Blank.